chosen one, stop scrolling. At exactly 11:47 p.m. Last night, something broke in the unseen realm. A seal that had locked your destiny for 1,826 days was shattered by the hand of heaven. For 5 years, you have walked through resistance that made every step feel like a battle. You've survived when you were meant to soar, waited when you were meant to rise. That was not a coincidence, it was warfare, fierce and personal. But now the war has ended. Heaven has issued new orders. The courts of eternity have spoken your name. Angels are being redeployed with fresh assignments. Your guardian, who has watched and waited, has used their one divine override to intervene for you. 7 souls on this earth were chosen to hear this word at this exact moment. 4 already scrolled past. 2 felt the pull but turned away. You are the 7th, the completion of the circle. This is not random. Heaven does not work by chance. If you close this message, the mantle passes to another, and the window will not reopen for 7 years. Listen. Heaven is not asking for attention. It is asking for agreement. When you type 777, you are not replying to me. You are signing a spiritual decree. You are saying, yes, I agree with heaven's timing. Yes, I received my release. Yes, I choose alignment over delay. Act now, for obedience, measured in seconds, can open doors that prayer could not. As those numbers leave your fingertips, something begins to move. You may feel warmth in your hands, a pulse in your chest, or a light pressure between your eyes. That is not emotion. It is activation. Heaven is touching earth through your faith. Even now, the atmosphere around you is shifting. Write it, 777. Let heaven record it. Let earth witness it. Let hell regret it. Then return. Because what comes next will reveal why your last 5 years felt like resistance, why every breakthrough came one moment too late. The verdict has changed. The seal is broken. The battle is over. The night is past and your dawn begins now. Now listen closely. What you've called delay, heaven calls war. What you thought was silence was actually a strategy. For the last 1,826 days, there has been a targeted assault against your assignment. Not a random storm, not a season of bad luck, but a deliberate plan designed in the shadows to keep you from realizing who you truly are. There were 12 spirits assigned to your name, 12 forces that studied your patterns, your fears, your weaknesses, your rhythms. One was sent to drain your finances, making money slip through your hands no matter how hard you worked. Another targeted your relationships, twisting words, birthing misunderstandings, creating distance where there should have been closeness. A third specialized in delay, allowing blessings to come just close enough for you to see them, but not close enough for you to touch. Every time hope rose, disappointment followed. Every time you reached forward, something invisible pulled back. Every sleepless night was not empty, it was evidence. Every tear you cried was documented in heaven. Psalm 56 says, "You have kept count of my wanderings, you have put my tears in your bottle." Every prayer that felt like it hit the ceiling was not rejected, it was recorded. Heaven does not waste pain, it repurposes it. For years, you thought you were weak because life kept breaking in the same place. You thought your faith was small because the mountain didn't move. You thought maybe God forgot you, but heaven says, "I never left. I was watching the courtroom. You were never being punished, you were being proven. Your endurance was the evidence hell could not erase. You see, the war you never saw was never about your comfort. It was about your calling. Hell was not afraid of your name, it was afraid of your awakening. Because if you ever truly realized who you are, what you carry, what you were built for, the entire structure of darkness tied to your bloodline would collapse in a single moment. That's why the attacks were precise. That's why they came for your peace, your mind, your body, your joy, your sleep. Every whisper that told you, "You're not enough, you'll never get out, you're too late." That was not you. That was infiltration. That was the enemy borrowing your voice to sabotage your future. C.S. Lewis once wrote in the Screwtape Letters that the safest road to hell is the gradual one, the gentle slope, soft underfoot without sudden turnings. That is exactly how the enemy fought you, not through visible destruction, but through quiet exhaustion, not by stealing everything at once, but by draining you drop by drop until you stop believing a breakthrough is possible. But tonight, the disguise is gone. You are being given spiritual sight to recognize the true battlefield. This is not about people. This is not about circumstances. This is about a campaign designed to keep you numb and silent while heaven waited for you to wake up. You've wondered why some people betrayed you, why the ones you helped the most hurt you the deepest. Why did opportunities collapse right before they were supposed to bloom? You blamed yourself, but heaven says, it was never failure. It was interception. The delay wasn't meant to destroy you. It was meant to protect you from doors that were poisoned on the other side. God hid you so he could heal you. Every time you were rejected, you were redirected. Every time you were delayed, you were being developed. Every time you thought you were losing, you were being located. What looked like defeat was a divine disguise. What felt like silence was set up. What seemed like the end was only an intermission. You are not behind schedule, you are right on time. Heaven has been aligning moments, names, and encounters for this very awakening. The war you never saw is over, and the verdict has been delivered. You are not fighting for victory anymore, you are fighting from victory. The outcome is already written. You are simply walking it out. Now stay with me. Because if you've ever felt like your life has been paused mid-sentence, if you've ever wondered why every door seems half open, what happens next will explain everything. Midnight has already passed. The seal has been broken, and the ruling from heaven is about to be executed on earth. At exactly 11:47 p.m., heaven spoke your name aloud in the courtroom of eternity. A ruling was issued. The seal that held your destiny hostage was broken, and the verdict was written in light. Set them free. What has been delayed is now released. What has been withheld is now restored. What was chained in darkness is now being delivered into the hands of the one who endured. For 5 years, the enemy operated under a temporary contract legal permission to test, to distract, to deceive. That contract expired at midnight. The paperwork of oppression has been torn in half. The ink that once recorded your losses has been washed away by mercy. The enemy's authority was revoked, and a higher decree was signed in your favor. Heaven does not issue suggestions. Heaven issues orders. And those orders have already been carried out by the Archangel Michael, the same warrior who cast Lucifer from the heavens. He is not coming to negotiate. He is coming to execute judgment. He has been dispatched with precision, assigned specifically to your case, your bloodline, your territory. He is retrieving what was stolen, unlocking what was sealed, restoring what was buried. When heaven moves, nothing remains the same. The sound that shook hell at 11:47 is still echoing now. It is the sound of chains breaking, of gates opening, of angels descending in formation. This is not a metaphor. This is a movement. You are standing in the aftermath of a divine intervention. For years you prayed and heard nothing. For months you sowed and saw no harvest. For days you wondered if God had gone silent. But what looked like a delay was a gathering storm. Heaven was aligning resources, timing, and authority. Every unanswered prayer became a brick in the altar being built for this moment. You see, God never forgot your name. He was waiting for the fullness of time, the moment when both the earthly and heavenly clocks struck agreement. That moment is now. That's why your spirit feels strange right now. That's why your atmosphere is heavy with electricity. Heaven is rearranging things on your behalf. The angels are not coming to visit, they are coming to deliver. Michael himself carries a decree sealed by the breath of God. It reads, "No weapon formed against them shall prosper. No curse spoken shall remain. Every debt of delay is cancelled, and he will not return until he has completed his assignment. So do not panic when everything around you begins to shake. That shaking is not destruction, it is deliverance. Old structures are collapsing because they cannot hold what heaven is about to pour. Systems that limited you are breaking, so expansion can begin. You may lose a few things, yes, but only what cannot enter the next level. This is your midnight release. The spiritual embargo has been lifted. The paperwork of heaven has cleared your name. Your identity has been re-stamped with divine authority. The seal is broken. The gates are open. And the next 7 days will carry evidence so undeniable that even your doubts will have to bow. Now, prepare your heart. Because heaven never ends with theory, it confirms through manifestation. In the next part, I will tell you exactly how to recognize the signs that the verdict has reached the earth. Heaven never speaks without evidence. Every word from the throne is followed by signs in the natural realm. The decree has already been released, but confirmation is how you will know it has landed. For the next 7 days, watch closely, because the proof will come not in vague feelings, but in specific manifestations. The first sign will be a message from the past. Someone you have not heard from in at least 3 years will suddenly reach out. It might come through a text, an email, or a voice you almost forgot. They will mention something you once prayed about, something that felt unfinished. This will not be nostalgia. It will be a divine reminder, heaven's way of saying, I have not forgotten what you thought I abandoned. God will use an old voice to echo a new beginning. The second sign will be a financial release. It will not be a lottery win or random luck. It will be strategic, a refund you forgot about, a debt that is suddenly reduced, an opportunity that appears from nowhere but meets your exact need. When you see the numbers 3, 7, or 11 inches the amount, understand this is heaven's signature, Father, Son, and Spirit, aligning on your behalf. It will not be the size of the gift that matters, it will be the timing, because divine provision always arrives in divine precision. The third sign will come through a human messenger. Someone in your ordinary circle at work, in your neighborhood, maybe in a store, will speak a phrase that pierces your heart because it mirrors your secret thoughts. They are not psychic. They are prophetic vessels, unaware that heaven borrowed their voice for a sentence that only you will understand. When this happens, do not brush it off. That moment is confirmation. Heaven is speaking through ordinary lips to remind you that the unseen world still governs the seen. And finally, the fourth sign will arrive through a dream. It will not be one of your usual dreams. This one will feel more vivid, more radiant, more alive. You may see water, symbolizing cleansing and flow. You may see keys, representing authority and access. Or you may see doors opening and light breaking through darkness. When you awaken, write it down. That dream is not random neural noise. It is an encrypted download from heaven, instructions for what comes next. Dreams are how God whispers when the noise of the world is too loud. C.S. Lewis once wrote in the Screwtape Letters that the safest road to hell is the gradual one, the gentle slope, soft underfoot, without sudden turnings. The enemy tries to make you doubt the miraculous by making everything look ordinary, but heaven is now breaking that illusion. What you call coincidence will soon reveal coordination. What you thought was random will reveal rhythm. So, watch the timing. Watch the numbers. Watch the words that seem too specific to ignore. Heaven loves precision because heaven is not guessing, it is orchestrating. In the next 7 days, the atmosphere will echo back to you what God already decreed in secret. These are not omens, they are confirmations. When they happen, don't dismiss them. Speak this aloud. Heaven, I see it, I received it, I agree with it. Because every miracle requires a witness, and every witness strengthens the covenant. Now, remember this. God does not only confirm in the present, He has been confirming for generations, and the same patterns you will see this week once appeared in the lives of those who walked before you. In the next part, I will show you how the same God who confirmed his promise to Job, to Joseph, and to generations before you still writes evidence into the lives of those who believe. What you are living right now is not new. Heaven has written this pattern before. Every generation has faced its night of silence before the dawn of intervention. The same hand that breaks your chains once broke them for those who came before you. The same voice that called your name once thundered over prophets, prisoners, and dreamers. Consider Job, a righteous man, blameless in his devotion, yet everything was stripped away: his wealth, his health, his children, his reputation. Heaven seemed quiet while the earth mocked his faith. For 42 chapters, he wrestled with pain, questions, and silence, but what looked like abandonment was a divine strategy. When the testing ended, God restored twice what had been lost. Job's story was not one of destruction, but of vindication. Though he slay me, yet will I trust in him. That is not resignation, that is revelation. It is the sound of a soul refusing to let temporary suffering define eternal truth. Now remember Joseph, betrayed by his own brothers, sold as a slave, forgotten in a prison he never deserved. Yet the very chains that bound him became the map that led him to Pharaoh's throne. What others meant for evil, God turned for good. If Joseph had not been rejected, Egypt would have starved. If he had not been forgotten, his dream would have died unborn. God did not just rescue him, God repurposed him. The delay was directed. Injustice was instruction. Captivity was preparation. Do you see it now? The same pattern that shaped Joseph's ascent is shaping yours. You call it frustration. Heaven calls it formation. You call it loss. Heaven calls it leverage. You call it waiting. Heaven calls it weaving. God is constructing a story in which your pain becomes prophecy and your endurance becomes evidence. Job proved that faith can outlast affliction. Joseph proved that a promise can survive betrayal. And you will prove that obedience can rewrite legacy. You are not the exception. You are the continuation. The God who restored Job and elevated Joseph has not changed address. He still visits ashes and turns them into altars. He still walks into prisons and calls them palaces. So when your heart trembles and your logic doubts, remember, every testimony of Scripture is an echo of what he can do again. What he did for Job, he can do for you. What he did for Joseph, he is doing even now. The ink is still wet on your chapter. The author has not laid down his pen. The pattern is repeating. The proof is returning. The promise is alive. Breakthrough never comes through open hands alone. It comes through closed doors. What you shut is as powerful as what you open. Many people keep praying for new blessings while leaving old portals wide open, doors that leak strength, drain peace, and invite confusion back into what God has already delivered them from. Heaven is clear. Before you can step forward, 3 doors must close. Not someday, not eventually, within the next 24 hours. Obedience delayed is opportunity denied. The first door. The door of draining relationships. You already know who it is, the one who calls only when they need something, the one who speaks death over your dreams while smiling to your face, the one whose presence always costs your peace. Loyalty without discernment becomes bondage. Compassion without boundaries becomes captivity. You have tried to fix them, but every attempt leaves you emptier. This is not cruelty, it is clarity. When God calls you higher, he also calls you lighter. You cannot fly carrying what heaven has already released. So, delete the number, block the account, stop answering the messages that pull you back into exhaustion disguised as friendship. Do it not in bitterness, but in wisdom. You are not rejecting them. You are protecting the purpose that depends on you. Remember this, what refuses to grow with you cannot go with you. The second door, the door of hidden compromise. It's the habit that hides in the dark, the pattern that whispers, it's not that serious. It may not be public, but it is powerful. What you entertain in private eventually governs you in public. It might be what you watch when you're alone, what you say to yourself when you fail, the way you medicate pain instead of facing it. Every compromise is a silent covenant. Every secret indulgence is a seed that demands harvest. When you tolerate what heaven condemns, you permit hell to linger. Tonight that permission must be revoked. You don't need a 12-step plan. You need a single decision. When the temptation rises, and it will speak out loud, that door is closed. That version of me is dead. Freedom doesn't come through feeling, it comes through authority. Close it, lock it, walk away. The third door, the door of fear. This is the most deceptive door, because fear often wears the mask of wisdom. It sounds reasonable. Be careful, be realistic, play it safe. But safety is not the same as faith. Fear will keep you analyzing what God already authorized. Fear will have you praying for signs while ignoring the ones already flashing. Fear will disguise itself as humility when it's really hesitation. If God said go, go. If God said speak, speak. If God said build, build. Fear says, what if? Faith says, even if. Every great act of obedience begins with trembling hands and a steady heart. You don't overcome fear by waiting for courage. You overcome fear by moving while afraid. The Red Sea didn't part before Moses stepped forward. It opened as he moved. The walls of Jericho didn't fall when Israel talked about marching. They fell when their feet touched the ground. So do the thing that terrifies you. Send the message. Apply for the position. Start the project. Make the call. Not because you feel brave, but because heaven is testing your agreement through motion. These three doors, relationships, compromise, and fear, represent the main entry points the enemy has used to stall your destiny. Close them, and everything shifts. When you remove the foothold, the stronghold falls. When you refuse access, darkness loses address. Every closed door on earth becomes a signal flare in heaven that says, they are ready. And heaven responds. When you close the wrong door, the right one swings open by itself. The moment you shut what drains you, the flow of what sustains you begins again. Do not postpone this. The next 24 hours are not symbolic, they are prophetic. Heaven measures time differently when obedience is immediate. Every hour of delay allows old contracts to linger. Every moment of hesitation tells darkness it can still negotiate. You cannot negotiate with what God has commanded you to evict. Close the doors now. Say it out loud if you must. This ends tonight. Let the words echo through your house, through your bloodline, through every corner where compromise used to whisper. And yes, the closing will hurt. It always does. Every ending sounds like grief before it sounds like freedom. But remember, grief is not always loss. Sometimes it's the sound of release. You are not losing people, habits, or fears. You are losing weight you were never meant to carry. So tonight, when your phone lights up with the same old number, when your thoughts drift toward the same old pattern, when that voice whispers, maybe tomorrow, answer with authority, no, that door is closed. And as you do, heaven will mark it done. Because on the other side of these three doors is not emptiness, it is expansion. The blessing that has been circling your life, waiting for clearance, will finally land. The atmosphere will shift. The air will feel lighter. The silence will sound different. That's not emptiness, that's space being made for glory. Now prepare yourself, because the moment you close those doors, the enemy will notice. He always notices when a captive starts walking free. And in the next part, I will show you exactly what happens next and how to stand firm when the counterattack comes. Whenever light breaks through, darkness panics. The moment you closed those doors, alarms went off in the realm of hell. The enemy always detects movement in the spirit before you see results in the natural. He cannot reverse the verdict, but he will try to make you question it. His weapon is not power, it is persuasion. His language is doubtful. His goal is to delay. In the next 48 hours, you may feel a sudden storm rise around you. Arguments will appear from nowhere. Old wounds will reopen. Someone you just distanced yourself from will send a perfectly worded message to make you feel guilty. A bill may arrive. A misunderstanding may spark. These are not coincidences. They are countermeasures. The adversary cannot stop your breakthrough, so he will try to distract you until it expires. He will whisper, "Nothing changed. You overreacted. Go back to normal." But normal is the graveyard of destiny. Remember this: resistance is proof of progress. The more violent the storm, the closer you are to the shore. Every wave that rises against you is confirmation that you moved something in the unseen. Do not misinterpret turbulence as punishment. It is proof that heaven has taken your side. The shaking you feel is not a collapse. It is construction. Things are not falling apart. They are falling into place. When fear begins to creep in, speak aloud. I see you. I recognize you. And I am not going back. Say it firmly, because words build walls in the spirit. Every declaration is a stone in the fortress of your faith. The enemy loses access when you stop granting attention. Don't reason, don't retreat, don't reopen. You already shut the doors, keep them sealed. Understand the pattern. Israel left Egypt, but Egypt tried to follow. Pharaoh didn't attack while they were slaves. He attacked when they were free. Deliverance provokes pursuit. When you step into freedom, hell always sends a final army to make you doubt it happened. The Red Sea moment always comes right after obedience. Yet the same waters that look like death to your past will become deliverance to your future. Hold your position until heaven finishes what it started. You have cried too many nights to quit now. You have endured too much pain to surrender on the edge of promise. Don't confuse fatigue with failure. When your mind says, "It's too much," answer, "Grace is greater." When your heart says, "I can't," answer, "God already did." Stand, breathe, wait. The enemy cannot cross a line drawn by obedience. These next 2 days are the proving ground of your new authority. Respond to every lie with truth, to every attack with stillness, to every wave with worship. Because after the counterattack comes the confirmation of blessing. The same heaven that allowed the test will release the triumph. The storm you withstand will become the stage of your announcement. So brace yourself, lift your head, fix your eyes. The darkness is loud because it knows its time is short. Hold the line a little longer, for what is about to break will make every battle make sense. The night is fighting for its last breath, but dawn has already begun to rise. Now, lift your hands where you are. The warfare has been exposed. The verdict has been executed. The counterattack has failed. And now, heaven begins to speak blessing. This is not poetic language. It is a prophetic decree. Receive every word as if your name were being written beside it, because it is. May your finances overflow until generosity becomes your greatest joy. May money no longer rule you but serve you, arriving not as a burden but as a tool. May unexpected provision locate you refunds, opportunities, cancellations of debt proof that the God of abundance has not forgotten your address. May your health align with heaven's frequency. May your body respond to truth instead of trauma, to promise instead of prognosis. May pain dissolve, inflammation fade, and rest return. May every cell awaken to its original design, whole, strong, and steady, and may every generational illness end with you. It ran in your family until it ran into you. May your relationships be restored. May toxic connections detach with ease, and may right people arrive with divine timing. May you attract those who pour into you as much as you pour into them. May your circle become so blessed that proximity to you brings breakthrough to others. May your mind find peace that defies logic. May anxiety lose its grip and fear lose its voice. May you lie down and sleep in confidence, not in exhaustion. May the nights that once haunted you now become holy ground for dreams, revelation, and renewal. May favor surround you like a shield. May doors open before you knock. May opportunities chase you down and insist on your attention. May the word delayed be erased from your vocabulary. Every day you thought was wasted will return multiplied. What was stolen will be restored with interest. May your purpose become undeniable. May clarity replace confusion, calling replace chaos, and conviction replace hesitation. You will no longer second-guess what heaven already confirmed. Your voice will carry weight. Your presence will shift atmospheres, and your words will plant hope in barren places. May your children walk in peace, unlearning your pain and inheriting your prayers. May your grandchildren reap blessings you fought for in secret. May your family name be known not for struggle but for strength, not for poverty but for prosperity, not for survival but for legacy. And may you, chosen one, never forget that blessing is not just possession, it is posture. Stay open, stay obedient, stay surrendered. The same God who blesses today will test again tomorrow, not to punish but to promote. Hold his presence the way a priest holds the flame carefully, reverently, constantly. So, receive it now. Abundance without anxiety, strength without striving, peace without proof, joy without explanation. You will see the fruit of what you have endured. You will walk through open gates carrying the evidence of victory. And when people ask what changed, you will simply smile and say, "Heaven remembered." This blessing is sealed over you now, not by emotion but by covenant, not by chance but by decree. It will follow you into the next sunrise. And when the light touches your face, it will whisper the same truth I speak now. You are blessed, and nothing can reverse it. Every prophecy eventually narrows down to one thing: choice. Heaven has spoken, the seal is broken. The blessings are moving toward you, but what happens next will not depend on angels, algorithms, or luck. It depends on your agreement. Eternity always offers two paths. Both exist right now. Both are possible, but only one will become your story. The first path is the familiar one. You feel inspired tonight, maybe even stirred. You tell yourself you'll act tomorrow. You mean to pray, to change, to move, but tomorrow always comes dressed as later, and later always ends as never. Life resumes, notifications return, the moment fades, months pass. The same frustrations repeat. You still check your balance at midnight. You still wear the same mask in the morning. You still say, "I'm fine," when your soul is screaming for rescue. And 3 years from now, you sit in the same place, wondering why breakthrough always visits others but never stay with you. That is not punishment. That is passivity disguised as safety. If you choose this path, the lesson remains unfinished, and heaven simply waits until the next appointed window. But there is a second path, the narrow one, the uncommon one. It begins the moment you decide that what you heard tonight is not content but commission. It starts when you act before you fully understand, when you obey before you feel ready. That path is costly. It demands separation from comfort, discipline over distraction, faith over familiarity. But it leads to a transformation so profound that even your reflection will testify. If you walk this path, everything changes. You stop surviving and start ruling. You stop doubting and start declaring. You stop replaying old losses and begin writing new victories. Heaven will align appointments, resources, and relationships you didn't even know existed. You will speak and doors will open. You will sow and harvest will chase you. You will sleep and wake up to peace instead of panic. And 3 years from now, people who once pitied you will come asking how you became unstoppable. 2 futures are waiting. One repeats your history, the other rewrites it. Both are real, but only one honors what heaven has invested in you. And in this moment, you are casting your vote. Not with money, not with effort, but with declaration. Say it aloud or write it where heaven can witness it. I choose breakthrough. Those 3 words are not a slogan, they are a seal. When you speak them, you are choosing faith over fear, obedience over delay, destiny over comfort. Heaven records decisions, not intentions. So choose now, while the window is open. Choose while grace still feels near. Don't let this become another message that moved you but never changed you. You've waited 5 years for this hour. Don't waste it on hesitation. The old chapter has already ended. The ink for the new one is ready. Say it again until it feels like truth in your bones. I choose breakthrough, because the moment you do, everything waiting behind obedience begins to move. And the next sound you will hear is not instruction, it is invitation. The whisper of heaven calling you into prayer, into sealing, into the final consecration. Father of heaven and earth, we come before you not as spectators but as witnesses. We have heard your word, we have seen your hand, we have felt the tremor of eternity moving through time. Now seal it. Let every word spoken tonight be written not only on pages or screens, but upon hearts that will not forget. Lord, I lift every soul who has said, I choose breakthrough. They have closed the doors you told them to close. They have stood through the storm, and now they wait for the wind of heaven to fill their sails. Honor their obedience, Lord. Let the same Spirit that raised Jesus from the dead quicken what has felt lifeless inside them. Every dream buried by delay, resurrect it. Every gift covered by fear, reignite it. Every prayer whispered in exhaustion, answer it openly, that faith may rise again. Father, we speak divine protection now. Let your angels encamp around those who belong to you. Cancel every plan of darkness, every whisper of shame, every lie that tries to undo this word. Where there has been confusion, release clarity. Where there has been scarcity, release the supply. Where there has been loneliness, release connection. Let the peace that surpasses all understanding guard their hearts and minds in Christ Jesus. For those who have wept in secret, remind them that you have numbered every tear. For those who feel unworthy of grace, show them that the cross has already settled worth once and for all. For those who still fear they might fall again, remind them that mercy is new with every sunrise. Let this moment not fade into memory but grow into movement, a daily walk of faith that outlives emotion. God of covenant, breathe upon every yes spoken tonight. Let this generation carry the sound of surrender and the fragrance of holiness. Make their lives sermons that preach without words. When they walk into rooms, let light follow. When they speak, let peace linger. When they pray, let power move. Let their homes become sanctuaries of your presence, and their families become legacies of your glory. We ask not just for a blessing, but for a transformation. Not just for provision, but for purpose. Not just for miracles, but for maturity. Teach us to handle victory with humility, and to carry abundance without arrogance. Let the blessings we receive never outweigh the faith that brought them. Keep our hearts soft, our motives pure, and our eyes fixed on you. And now, Father, seal this word. Mark this hour as holy. Let the angels record it, and heaven remember it. From this moment forward, let every listener walk as one who has been chosen, commissioned, and crowned. The old season is over. The new one has begun. We declare it. Breakthrough is here. Freedom is here. Favor is here. We will not return to what you delivered us from. We will not retreat from what you called us to. We are yours fully, freely, forever. In the name above every name, the name that silences fear and conquers death, the name of Jesus Christ, we seal this prayer. And every voice that believes, every heart that agrees, every spirit that knows this word was for them, say it, whisper it, type it. Amen. It is done. So let it be.